this is Daniel Mart back again. I am an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, for this week, I'm going to be doing the top 10 things that happened to me last year, 2024. So yeah, before we begin, Happy New Year's. I mean, I know I'm doing this at the end of January, but still, Happy New Year's. Hopefully the New Year's been treating you guys so far well. I mean, right now, I understand that the world is kind of all over the place, with, new presidents, wildfires, cold fronts, whatever, and that's just here in America, so who knows. But yeah, I think for me, I really want to reflect on what happened to me last year, the 10 best things that happened to me last year. And I've done this twice in the past. I did this back in 2017, 2018, and I did it again last year for the best things that happened to me in 2023. So I'm now thinking about 2 years ago. And yeah, and unlike those two videos that I've done in the past where I was just thinking about, the 10 best things that happened to me in my acting career, these are going to be just a little bit more general, just 10 best things that happened to me in life, I guess you could say. It is still going to be heavily focused on the acting career, on my film career. However, I am going to be focusing more so towards the top half of the list. I am going to be focusing more so on some of the stuff that happened to me just in life in general. And yeah, because I've talked about this in the past, in the first video I did this year as to what to expect for this year. And I also talked about it a bit in the last video of last year, where I'm kind of in this weird transitional phase. So, we'll see what happens this year, and we'll see how the top 10 for next year forms out. But right now, we're going to be doing the top 10 best things that happened of this year for 2024, or last year, 2024. Again. So at number 10, we have the release of Spending Some Time Together. It was finally released earlier last year, around this time, late January, early February on Amazon Prime. And yeah, I mean, that was such a cathartic release in my opinion, because it's finally out. And that seems kind of weird to say like, oh yeah, it's finally out. But after a certain amount of time, after such a huge project, you finally want this to be out. And I'm not gonna lie, Spending Some Time Together was a very, very difficult project to get through. We filmed that in 2022, and that was during a time where I was just very emotionally unavailable and somewhat depressed about some of the stuff that was going back in my life during that time, some of the stuff that was going on in my life during that time. And I remember that being such a difficult film to do, working with Jace, which we usually have a great working relationship. However, during that project, it's not that we had a falling out or something like that, but initially we had kind of a disconnect. And Angel was there as well. He was one of the other producers. He had a minor role in it. He was also a huge production member, aside from being a producer. Like, he was always there. I think he was like the sound guy as well at a lot of points, and he was always there helping out. And yeah, I mean, that was a film that was not difficult. That was our first feature film, all three of us. Now, yes, I have worked on other feature films in the past as an actor, but that's the first time I was working on a feature film as a producer. And just because of the time back in 22, because again, as I said before, when we were making that project, I was going through a lot of personal stuff. I know Jace and Angel were also going through their own personal stuff. And I just remember so much of it maybe not being the best thing it could have been. Not really see the positives of that filming experience. So now for it last year to finally be out after everything that we went through, we did have a film run for it. I'll be honest, the film run wasn't as fruitful as I wish it could have been. I'm not really going to comment too much on that, despite the fact that I do have my thoughts on that and how it was handled, but that's besides the point. But I'm just really happy that it has finally been released. And look, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say it's a perfect film. I do have my issues with the film, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And it's just one of those things like, I produced a feature film. It is finally out for people to see. People can go out or go to Amazon Prime and go watch it. I believe you do have to pay some money to watch it. I don't remember what the payment is at the moment, because we did have a Halloween sale, or discount or whatever. That's what Jace put. He put like a Halloween sale discount, something like that. I'm not sure if it's still on effect, because I think it did go on a bit into November. So there's that. And, people for the most part like it. People, of course, always have criticisms like, oh, it's too long, which I'll admit it is a bit too long at over 2 hours, but that's besides the point. But, and there are some comments like, oh, why was this like that? Why was that like that? This and that, whatever. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that we made a feature film. It is finally out for the public to see. And after all the stuff that we went through with that film and filming that film all the way 2-3 years ago at this point. Wow, 2-3 years ago at this point, back in 2022. Just to see all our fruits there, so to speak, is like, finally, it's been done. So yeah, that's what I have here at number 10, the release of Spending Some Time Together. On to At number 9, it's kind of a bittersweet one in my opinion, but it is my reflection on my 10 years in the industry, basically. And yeah, earlier in the year, around June, July, I want to say, I did a little mini series of 4 episodes, videos, whatever you want to call them, where I basically reflected on my time in the industry. I discussed about what were some of my best projects or favorite projects, what were some of my worst projects that I've been a part of. I discussed the evolution of the channel in general, and we watched some of my first videos I posted on this channel, and like my first acting reels and my first monologues and stuff like that. And I just did a whole reflection in general of just being in the industry for 10 years straight. And it was very cathartic, honestly. Even at the moment, it was very cathartic. And I reflected a lot, even afterwards. And to a certain extent, in part, that little mini-series in June, July is part of the reason why I kind of decided to take a step back from the film industry. And that's kind of why I say it's a little bit bittersweet, because I'll be honest, when I made the last video, which was the worst things that happened to me while I was in the industry, like top 10, top 15 worst things that happened to me in the industry, something like that. Maybe it was top 20, I don't remember right now. But when I did that video afterwards, I'm like, why am I commenting on this? Why am I focusing on the negative? And then I really started like reflecting on like what has the film industry brought for me or brought to me. And as I've discussed on this channel in the past, and as I will discuss later on in the video, I have found God. There is that too. So there was also an element of that, like, is this really the trajectory I should keep going? And I will still be making a video on that more in depth, but that is kind of like the first stone, so to speak, that was like flipped over to like really have me think about it. But despite that, I was able to reflect on an industry that I've been a part of for 10 years, on an industry that I've loved for the most part for the past 10 years, an industry that I've been able to act in, produce in, write in, everything in for the past 10 years. That's when I continuously have grown and grown and grown. Even my struggles during the pandemic and when I was on the rise, and because of the pandemic, everything shut down and my stock fell, despite all the troubles I had in 2022 and 2023 and trying to reestablish myself and all of that, I'm still here in the industry. I'm still a recognizable figure here in the industry, and that's not really something that many people can say, especially after 10 years being here in the industry for as long as I have been. And even seeing the evolution of this channel, you can see like I started off with like little monologues and like posting my auditions or whatever, and now here I'm making these discussion topics like 10 years later, making my discussion topics on like, this is what I'm thinking about the film industry. These are my, oh, this just happened right now. Oh, let me talk about it. These are my top 10 favorite whatever, it all goes in tandem. I just have Captive right now, which is a film I just finished, which I'll be talking about soon enough. But I've done Captive. We did the release of Spending Some Time Together. I'm doing this and that project and whatever. This Primal Fear is a very successful film I've done. Single in Miami, a very successful web series I've been a part of. And just reflecting on all that, it's been incredible. And again, there is still an element of bittersweetness because of some of the other realizations I had in tandem with that, which again I will discuss in the future. But overall, I think it was just so incredible that again, how many people can say I've been in a certain industry for 10 years, especially one as volatile, especially one that went through such a hard hit during the pandemic as acting. At number 8, we have the Mechanic Festival Run. And this is one that's honestly been a long time coming. We did the Mechanic. We filmed the Mechanic back in 2021, I want to say. Early to mid 2021, and it's one that really went through a lot of post-production troubles. I'm not really going to get into the specifics of it, but there was a lot of post-production troubles with getting an editor and trying to edit the film and this and that, and a lot of infighting with some of the cast members and the producers slash directors and all that stuff, and it was finally finished at the end of 2023. And at the end of 2023, the director of that project asked me, hey, how do you recommend I release this? How should the festival run for this be? And I gave him some ideas as to how this festival will run for should be. And at that time, I wanted to attach myself as a producer, because honestly, a lot of my producing work is really more sort of that. It's more towards that, or I'm more of a distribution producer in terms of the film festivals. That's how I get most of my producer credits. And that's what I was trying to do back in late 2023. Come to find out that he didn't really want to do that. He just wanted my advice. He just wanted to take my advice, take it, and then use it on his own. I'm like, what, screw it, whatever, it is what it is. However, I noticed early on in 2024 that, hey, this film still hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't been accepted anywhere. Have you submitted? And he's like, yeah, no, I haven't. I've just been lazy. I'm like, bro, I have the information. Can I just submit it on our behalf? I'll get the distribution credit, producer credit, and we'll go from there. And he's like, yeah, screw it, why not? Go from there. And yeah, I mean, the festivals have really accepted it and have really liked the mechanic. I mean, yeah, it's just a project that's been very successful. It's been getting into a lot of festivals. And actually, just around New Year's, we got into a festival up in India where I actually got nominated for Best Actor. The whole cast got nominated for Best Cast. There's a few other nominations like Best Crime Short and I think Best Director, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one that audiences, the film festivals have really taken to and have really enjoyed. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see where this film goes and it's able to go. And it's one that we've really enjoyed, and hopefully I'll be able to work with some of these people again in the future. And hopefully the post-production process of whatever film we do in the future isn't as messy as what we did with Mechanic or another project that we actually tried to do earlier this year but didn't pan out because of exterior reasons. That's not the right word. Exterior? Maybe. Whatever that proper word is, there you go, but whatever. Reasons beyond our control, besides the point. But yeah, overall, still happy with how the success of the mechanic is going, and we'll see what happens later down this year. On to the next one. At number 7, I have that we finally finished filming Grave Intentions. Now, I'll be completely honest, I'm not really sure about how much I'm able to share about this project outside of the title. But long story short, this is a project that we started filming in late 2023. And it was supposed to be a very short film process. We were supposed to shoot everything 2023. If anything, maybe a few pickup shots in early 2024, and that's about it. However, there was a lot of difficulties with some of the cast and crew in trying to schedule it to the point that some people had to drop out. And because of that consistent dropout, it's one of those things where we'd be set to film one day, and then like the day before or even on that day, because of whatever, it had to be canceled because all of a sudden this other person can't film or doesn't want to film or whatever. And it was a very frustrating thing, especially because my hair, if you see my videos from earlier last year, or from like literally a year ago basically, you would see I have like really long hair. And the reason I had that really long hair wasn't because I wanted to grow it out, it's because I needed to keep continuity from when I last shot to when I next shoot, essentially. And yeah, we eventually filmed everything we needed to do after all the hassle of everything. I think we finally shot everything around March, maybe April, I think is when we finally finished filming everything. So yeah, and it was such a long process. I think we started, give or take, October, November, and there should have been like 2 weekends of shooting, but because of everything that was going on, it went from like give or take October, November to give or take March or April. And overall, it was a fun project despite the delays. It was a fun project. It was a really great casting crew. I really like all of them. I was actually going to work with one of the other actors on another project earlier this year, or last year on another project, but those plans fell through. But I do hope to work with him again. I do hope to work with that whole crew again overall. But yeah, I mean, can't wait to see how this turns out. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten any updates on the film, post-production wise. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see what happens there. Hopefully it comes out. I really hope it comes out because I do think that is one of my better performances. And it's also a role that I was able to like really dive into a lot. I've discussed this a few times on the channel as well, but there's very few roles where I feel like I'm able to sink my teeth in and just dive. I feel like a lot of the roles I get is just like, hey, here's your milk, and then I leave. Like that's like 2-second roles and that's about it. And whereas this was an actual character, and I really got to like sink my teeth into the character, and like I was talking to the director, like, oh, what do you think he's doing here? Like, or, maybe I understand what you're going through, but maybe he's actually thinking this, and that, or maybe he should be doing this instead of that, or whatever. So I remember doing that stuff as well. It was just really great, and I really liked it. And I'm gonna say lots of blood, lots of blood. Which honestly, I love blood. Let's go with that. Next. At number 6, we have The Adventures of Hero Man, which was our film for the 48-hour film challenge, and how that won 2 awards at the 48-hour film challenge. And yeah, I mean, especially after 2023, where it was just where that film, La Familia, was just honestly my worst project ever in so many regards. It's just one of the worst things I've ever done. It's one of the messiest things I've ever done. Probably one of the worst acting things I've done. It's just one of the most frustrating film experiences I've ever done. To go from that, one of the worst experiences I've ever done, to Hero Man, where we won awards. Hallelujah. It was such an incredible thing. And this is a film that I did with Alejo. It's something that I actually told, while I was even doing La Familia, like back in 2023, I told him, hey, next year, please sign up for this, because I do not want to be stuck with another team like this next year, Alejo Vega, he is one of my main partners, film partners in this industry right now, and He's like, yeah, you know, when time comes, we'll sign up for it. And sure enough, we signed up for it. And it's one of those things. I even did a vlog. I did 2 vlogs for it. One for when we were actually filming this thing, and one for like, hey, announcing that we won the film at the actual film festival. Yeah, it was so incredible. We won 2 awards. One of them was for best effects, visual effects, if I'm not mistaken, and the other one got 5th place out of the whole festival. There was about 30, 40 films, and we got 5th place. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And the thing with that is that comedies usually don't get, you know, any nominations or any awards like that in the top 5, so to speak. And the fact that we got it there is just amazing. And yeah, we did a superhero social media comedy type of film, and it was just great. It was such a fun shoot. A little bit tiring towards the end because of course it is, but overall it was so much fun. And the fact that we won awards, especially in general, because I haven't generally had the best experience with the 48-hour film challenge in general. The first couple years I did it, I basically got like extra roles. I was basically a glorified extra. For the most part, I did do another film back in 2017, 2018 called Debts Unpaid. I think that's just in general one of my better roles I've done. And I did that one for the 48, but some of the other stuff I did for the 48, like the museum, for example, or Del H, for example, like not to be ungrateful, but like those are very much cameo roles, like 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out. And the character I got for this project, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's a character I was able to sink my teeth in, but it was a character I was able to have fun still, regardless. Overall, it's just a really great experience. I got to work with Alejo and the whole crew all over again, which are, again, some of my best, or my closest partners in the film industry, and it was just very great to do this, very fun. We won awards, and after the crap that I went through back in 2023, thank God, you know? We'll see what happens in 2025. On to the next. At number 5, I have that Frag was screened or premiered at the Outshine Film Festival. So what is Frag? So if you saw my video from last year, where I said, hey, my top 10 things of 2024, or 2023, my bad, my top 10 things of 2023, I actually had Frag there, but it was like NDA project, because I wasn't even aware. I didn't know if I was allowed to talk about it. Now I can, because the film is actually released now on YouTube, so you guys could definitely watch this, link down below. But yeah, Frag for me is just, in general, I think one of the most impactful films I've ever worked on. For those who don't know, it's based on a true story. It's about a man who comes into a gay bar and he has a grenade and he wants to blow up the place. And this is something that happened down here in Wilton Manors, if I'm not mistaken, which is just a little bit north of Miami. I'm pretty sure it's like right there in Fort Lauderdale. I think it's like in a neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale, definitely in Broward. But yeah, it's a true story. You can search it up, and that's what the film is about. It's like basically a recreation of those events. And I portrayed one of the bartenders, Kenny, and it's one of those things. I even discussed it last year when I did the top 10 list as well. But it's definitely just such an impactful film. There were so many people that I had worked with on that film beforehand. That was just great to see again. But yeah, working on this film was just so impactful because of the message it shows. Like, these are not people to be discriminated against. These are not people to be scared of. Even if you have internalized homophobia, yeah, that's the term, internalized homophobia, it's something that you should take care of. And it also has a message of war veterans and how they should be taken care of. That's true. They should be taken care of. And there's so many difficult discussions, I guess you could say, with that message, with that film, that were definitely had, especially at the screening, where we were asked so many stuff about the events, both in correlation with the real life events and how they're depicted on screen, and did this really happen like that, and was that really like this, and all this and that. And it was just really impactful. I even did 2 videos earlier this year or last year where I discussed the first video I think was just discussing overall my thoughts on the film as a whole, the shooting process and everything that happened with it. And then the second film was me at the film festival, and overall it was just great. Honestly, just in general, just one of the best projects I've ever been in. One of the best filming experiences I've ever been a part of. Such an impactful film, and it's one of those things that I'll forever be grateful that I was a part of. And definitely do check it out. The link is down below. It's already out. It came out like 2 months ago, I want to say. So it's out there on YouTube. I hope to work with them again soon. And yeah, that's about it. At number 4, we have the Captive screening and Q&A. So this was the first screening we have for Captive. We actually did it over Zoom, essentially. It was a premiere event. And Captive, for those who don't know, that is my latest directorial effort, directorial short film that I did. Just to give you a quick synopsis on Captive, and I'm reading this right from IMDb because I don't want to spoil too much, but it's a man who is captured by someone he unknowingly wronged in the past. So yeah, that of course brings up a lot of mysteries, like, oh, how did he, wrong him in the past, not knowing, da 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 da. And yeah, we had the screening back in, I don't remember anymore, like in the middle of the year during the summer. It was really great. A lot of people came to it. About 40 people, I want to say, came to the screening, and it was just very fun. And we had a Q&A session that lasted about an hour, which I did post here on the channel, either here or on the DMart Productions channel. I don't remember which one, but link also down below for that. And it was just so fun. It was like, because I'll be honest, for me, when I do my films, one or two things happens, and because it depends on the film. Either A, I just post it to YouTube and people watch it or not watch it, and if they comment, cool. If they don't comment, whatever, it is what it is, and there you go. It just kind of dies on YouTube. Sure, why not? The alternative is I just submit it to film festivals, and since a lot of the festivals I get into aren't local, aren't here in Miami or even South Florida, because the film industry down here really doesn't support local filmmakers, but besides the point. But because of that, I always end up getting accepted to, like, let's say New York, India, California, Germany, whatever. But because it's all places that are clearly not Miami, I can't really go there and I can't really experience the live thing of it. So to get that chance to do that again, even if just over online on a Zoom call, it was just great. And of course the Q&A was just great. Everybody had the people had so many interesting answers, like what was the inspiration for it, what was the process for it, how did the actors like filming their scenes, and this and that. Overall, it was just really great. And honestly, I'll be honest, that Q&A session was just one of the most chaotic yet funniest things I've ever been a part of. So it's just great, especially when you have a child actor and they're kind of like half paying attention to like what's going on and whatever, and they're just kind of answering from like the hip, and then halfway through the interview they're just like, hey, here's a picture I'm drawing right now because I'm not really paying attention to whatever's going on right now. That's just funny in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, overall Captive has been received well. It also did get into the same film festival that the mechanic got into, that Indian film festival. It got into that, and it also got nominated for a bunch of awards. Best director, the child actress, she got nominated for best actress. Alejo got nominated for best actor. Yeah, again, this is another collaboration between me and Alejo. Best cast, I'm pretty sure Alejo got nominated for best editor. So a lot of different nominations here as well. So yeah, very grateful for that. Next at number 4, right? Yeah, number 4. At number 3, my bad. Number 3. At number 3, we have the Garfield press tour, and I mean, overall, this has got to be just one of the funniest things I've ever done in my career. Period. I was Garfield for about 3 days. I was on Telemundo. I was on Univision. I was on all these channels. I went to several schools dressed up as Garfield to entertain the kids. It was hilarious. It was great. It was very sweaty, not gonna lie. And I did a vlog video discussing all this, like, hey, here's me as Garfield, whatever. So yeah, so you definitely do check that video out. But overall, it was just such a fun experience. Another thing with that is that I honestly just love cats in general. They're like one of my favorite animals. So for me to like basically dress up as a cat now, it's objectively fun and funny, especially because it's Garfield, one of the most famous cats. I think the only other cat that's probably more famous than him is probably like Tom from Tom and Jerry, or like the Pink Panther or whatever. So yeah, Garfield. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure Pink Panther would be less popular than Garfield. Tom and Jerry though, for sure, for sure. Maybe Sylvester the cat. Besides the point. But yeah, I'll be honest. The funny thing is, I still haven't seen this movie. That's the ironic thing. I still haven't seen this movie. Go figure. But overall, it was a very fun experience. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. The one kind of negative thing about it, and I don't really blame the company for this. I kind of just blame like other exterior reasons for this. But like, I was promised that I would get the footage for me being Garfield from the news stations, because I went on like 6-7 different news stations, Univision, Telemundo, Despierta America, whatever, all these different news shows and talk shows and whatever, dressed up as Garfield, and I was promised, yeah, you're gonna get all that footage. We usually get all that footage, and for whatever reason, I never got that footage. The only footage I have of me as Garfield comes from 2 sources. One is from my phone, or the agent's phone, who was filming right there on the side, so I got some of that footage. And then the Spirit America did post a little bit about it on their like YouTube channel, I want to say, or Instagram or something like that. So I did rip the footage for that and downloaded that to my computer. And because of that, you're probably seeing some of it right now. That's really it. That's the only footage I forgot. I did ask the agent that I was associated with for this, like, hey, what happened to footage like a few months afterwards? She's like, yeah, we still haven't gotten it. I know it's weird. I'll keep asking for it, but like, after a while, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, fair enough, but it still sucks because I went to like 6, 7 different shows and only one of them really released the footage, and it was over their Instagram. It was like, bro, it is what it is. At number two, we're getting to some of the more personal stuff, but it's the fact that I finally went back to Colombia after 10 years. So yeah, I haven't been to Colombia in like 10 years, maybe a little bit more to be honest. But yeah, I finally went to Colombia. For those who don't know, I am half Colombian. I'm Colombian Peruvian. Colombian on my mom's side, Peruvian on my dad's side, and I like being in Colombia. What else can I say? I'm just part of my culture. I love going to the mountains. I love seeing the nature of it all. I mean, I live here in Miami, and what am I seeing? I'm seeing palm trees. I'm seeing flat roads. The sunny sky can only keep me happy for so long. Colombia has mountains, it has greenery. It's amazing. It's fun. It's incredible. The great food. Granted, we do have great food here. Don't get me wrong, but you have great food, the views, everything. I'm being there with my family as well. It was just great. And again, I haven't been there in over 10 years, and it was just so great. I'll be honest, there was a lot of times where I actually got emotional, where I almost couldn't believe that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here in Colombia. And it was just incredible. I really enjoyed that. I was there for 2 weeks, and right after Christmas, and it was just great. It was incredible. I couldn't believe the fact that I was there half the time, just soaking it all in, taking it all in, eating all the great food, and overall it was great. I did get sick at like the very end, like on my last 2 days. I got like a very bad stomach virus, so there was that, which kind of sucks. But yeah, aside from that little hiccup at the very end of the trip, overall it was just great. It was great. Again, I'm connecting back with my culture. I'm connecting back with my family. I'm connecting back with everything that is Colombia. It was just so great. And I just haven't been there such a long time. I mean, to be honest, and a little bit personal here, but like the last time I was there, my grandpa was still alive. He died back in 2017, 2018. So yeah, like last time I was there, he was still alive. So we did go to his gravesite, and that was very emotional for me because apparently everybody else in the family, like all my other cousins and even my sister, has been to the gravesite. I was just the last one to go there, and I'm the oldest one out of the whole bunch. So like, I don't know, that brought up a lot of emotions, and it was just there was also that seeing my grandpa again, so to speak, and remembering all the good times with him as well, talking with my cousin, and like, oh, I remember when me and Abuelito would do this and that, and he would talk about this and that, and it was just great. And just going to all these little villages as well. You go to all these little villages, and the thing is that a lot of these little villages have these like amazing big churches. It's like, oh my gosh, these churches are so big, it's so cool, which we'll get to in a bit, by the way. But yeah, again, just being back there in that environment, being back in Colombia, the food, the family, the environment, the nature, Colombia in general was just great. I loved it. It really filled my heart, and I hope I can go back to Colombia soon. Hopefully not in 10 years. Hopefully it's gonna be soon, like maybe later this year or next year or the year after. I don't want to wait another 10 years to go back to Colombia. Yeah, on to number one. And number one, probably the most personal thing you're gonna get out of me, outside of my grandfather already being dead, is the fact that I finally found God this year. You guys have seen in several videos, especially some of the last ones, where I discussed my beliefs in God. To give you a bit of my testimony, and testimony is basically what your journey with God or how you were introduced back to God or introduced to God in general is. I was raised Catholic, and it's one of those things where it's a relationship with God. It's not a religion. But when you're young, you're kind of just going to church with your parents, like, oh my gosh, what is church? Oh, I guess this is church. Yeah, I guess I believe in God. Again, I'm like a five-year-old, I'm a 6-year-old, I'm a 7-year-old, I'm a 9-year-old, whatever. I'm like, I'm 10. I'm like, yeah, I guess God is a thing. I like God, but I'm still kind of head empty about it. And I did confirmation, I did my first communion, I did all that. But in high school, I walked away. I walked away To be honest, I'm not sure I was even ever there, so to speak. It's just one of those things that you were just raised to do, and it's like, why am I going to keep doing this if I don't really believe in it, so to speak? So for several years, I was agnostic, which basically means I do believe there is something out there. I just don't know what that is, whether it be God or Allah or the spaghetti God or whatever. I know there's something there, just don't know what. And then it wasn't until end of 2013, end of 2023, where I had a friend of mine who they really recommended that I go back to church. And I was honestly very hesitant about it, and really wasn't until April 8th, 2024, when I went back to church. And I'll be honest, at first I wasn't really that into it. I really wasn't connecting with a lot of the stuff that was going on. Part of it had to do with my own pridefulness, my own egoness, my own stubbornness, which I eventually had to let go. And once I finally let go, once I finally accepted God into my life and surrendered God into my life, it's been an incredible journey ever since then. It's just been great. I feel like I'm having a positive outlook at life, especially compared to like even last year or the year before that. I mean, part of the reason why I felt so bad making that video of top 10, 15, whatever worst things that happened to me in the film industry during that retrospective little mini series that I had is because part of it had to do with that. It's like, why am I focused on the negative? I feel so happy right now, but why am I focused on the negative? And it's stuff like that. I talked about it, I want to say, in my end of year video last year when I was being thankful. I think I discussed it a little bit there as well, where like, I'm trying to pray to God and see to show me the way, and I'm still doing that. I'm to the religion again. It's only been 9 months. It's about to be 10 months next week, essentially, and I mean, it's just great. The people I've met are great. The connections I made are great. It feels like a family. I think that's one of those things I've always been looking for, whether it be in the film industry, whether it be at FIU, MDC, back in high school, anywhere else I go look for it. I want to fit in a place where it feels like family. Granted, yes, I have my friends at FIU, I have my friends at MDC, I have my friends here in the film industry, but like, if I'm being completely honest, that's really as far as it goes to friends. And even then, it's more like co-workers to a certain extent. Very few of them actually really go past that co-worker title, if I'm being honest. Some of them will go into friends, but if I'm being honest, none of them really go into that family section, you know? Like Vin Diesel says, family, But honestly, a lot of the people here at church, most of the people here at church, feel like family. Like, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my uncle right there, That's basically grandpa over there. Oh, that's like ahí está la tía también. Oh, that's my cousin right there, the little baby cousin and whatever, and I'm technically his uncle or whatever. It's kind of like that. And it's just incredible, and just really being connected to Word has really, like I said, it's really just, I feel like I've been able to give so much to him. Um, that's really what it comes down to. I feel like I've been able to give so much to him. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that, oh, I've figured everything out, that I'm completely over whatever trauma I've had in the past, or this and that. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you about that. But in me giving him the ability to like take away that trauma from me, all my sufferings, all my PTSD, all my paranoia, whatever, and give it to him, I really have felt myself lighter, and people have even told me like, "Hey, yeah, you feel like such a different person," and it's not even been a year, bro. And I just want to keep growing in the faith. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I really want to keep growing in the faith and see where this journey takes me. Last week, I came back from a retreat with my church, and it was great. I didn't really film anything about it, to be honest. I did do a little video about it. So you guys could check out that video. Honestly, the devil did try to get in the way of that video because nearly every single file when I was recording got corrupted when I transferred it over from phone to my computer. Go figure, but I still managed to pump out a video based on that because I wanted to share the good word. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm just gonna say this: if you haven't found God, talk to Him, pick up a Bible, go to church, fellowship, and talk to whoever you can, and just try to find God. Because honestly, it's so peaceful. You'll feel so much better about it. And look, I'll take it from me. I was very stubborn about it. My friends will attest to this that I was very stubborn about it. I really didn't want to go. They kept insisting that I go, and since they're usually right, 1 year later, It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, it's just been an incredible journey, and I've been liking it every step of the way. I can't wait to see how I grow and continue on from there. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the whole top 10 list. Tell me what you guys think about it. Comment all that down below. Let me know. What are the best things that happened to you this year or last year? Because we're only about a month in, and honestly, depending where you live, maybe not the best thing right now. But yeah, what are the best things that happened to you last year? Tell me all that down below. Let me know. And yeah, I still have a few more videos I want to make, a few more like retrospective videos, so to speak. I am gonna be making a video next week about my goals and just my career goals in general. I do want to discuss that, and I do have another video I want to make in terms of movie collecting that I still want to make. So that'll probably come out about 2 weeks from now, because again, once a week. And yeah, that's basically it for now. I just wanted to give you that quick little update before I log off. But yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.